Okay, everybody, I hope you can hear me. And we are just going to get started here with the new seller training for Whatnot. If you're not already signed up for Whatnot to sell, go ahead and use the link in the description box, and that way you can qualify for that $150 cash bonus that's sponsored by Whatnot. Use the link in the description box. That's the only way you're going to get that cash bonus, that $150 cash bonus from Whatnot. So sign yourself up for the cash bonus in the description box. And let me just make sure that we've also got audio set up here.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Beautiful. Hi, welcome in, everyone. Very excited to have you all here. I know that we had to reschedule this one a bit. I sadly got very sick and was unable to walk y'all through a live stream. But we're here today. We're ready to go. I'm excited. Hope you're excited too. I am feeling much, much better, but thank you for your concern. Custom wood burning, thank you so much for the raid. Yes, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are tuning in from today. My name is Casey. I'm a community manager here at Whatnot, and I'm going to be leading you through our live stream demo today, really focusing on how to attract buyers and how to really optimize your live stream in those early days. Feel free to share this with friends or newer sellers that you know of if you think that they would benefit from this. We'll have a lot of tips and tricks that you can review here. And I highly recommend, if you haven't already, grabbing something to take notes with. So a pen and paper, if you can like open up the notes app on your phone or your computer or anything like that, I think that would be super, super helpful for you all, just because I'm going to mention a ton of different resources today. Where is everyone, while we wait a few minutes to get more folks in the room, would love to know where everyone is tuning in from. Jersey, NYC, baby, Florida, South Carolina, Montana, Dallas. Love. Welcome, welcome. I would love to know, out of the folks that are tuning in right now, how many people have yet to go live for the first time? Oh, nice. Well, I hope this is super helpful today and we give you the confidence to go live and have a really successful first show. How many folks are tuning in that have already gone live that are looking for more tips and tricks on how to attract buyers? Very nice. Awesome. Well, we'll have lots of information for both types of sellers joining us here today. In the chat, I have my colleague, Kenny. If you've tuned into Whatnot Sellers before, you have likely seen him. I call him Mr. Mayor of Whatnot, because that's truly what he is, loved by all. Kenny is going to be modding for us in the chat today, and going to be collecting all of your questions. I'm going to be very focused on leading you through a demo, so it'll be a bit hard for me to keep up with the chat, but please know that our team is on it. We'll be covering as many questions as we can, and I'll get to those at the end of today's session. And Kenny will be posting some resources along the way as well, so just stay tuned for any pinned messages along the way. All right, I think we're ready to get started. Have a lot to cover today. So if you're just joining, hi, my name is Casey. I'm a community manager here at Whatnot. We run a lot of different programs for sellers just to help educate you and make sure you have the tools and resources that you need to succeed on Whatnot. One being this account, Whatnot Sellers. If this is your first time here, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Today we're going to be covering a live stream demo, focusing on just live stream basics, and then also tips and tricks on how to attract buyers and optimize your streams. So if you're a new seller, whether you've streamed already or you've yet to stream, I think this will be a really good show for you. And we also, oh, the Red Rooster, thank you so much. Welcome in, y'all. We also stream from this account at least 3 times a month. So highly recommend bookmarking and following our upcoming shows. All right. So a reminder, if you haven't already, highly recommend grabbing a pen and paper to take notes. And also just a reminder that there will be an email, we will email you a recording of the stream after the show. So if you want to refer back to it and review your notes, you will have a recording after the fact, just because you are tuning in. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I've introed myself. I'll give another intro in a bit if you are new here. But again, thank you so much for being here, and let's jump into it. All right, so we have handy dandy OBS today to show you my phone at the same time. Ta-da! Y'all see my phone? Yes? Lovely. Okay, cool. Well, welcome to my profile. Fun fact, everyone that works at Whatnot sells and buys on the platform. I am typically buying in arts and handmade, lots of beauty products. So if you see Casey's Clay popping around there, feel free to say hi. But everyone at Whatnot who works at Whatnot also sells on the platform, because it's really, really important for us, for the community and for the company at large, that we deeply understand what our users are going through, so we can relate to you and make tools and features that really can benefit your business. So I've been at Whatnot for a little over 3 years now, and I've been selling under Casey's Clay during that time. And I'll tease some Whatnot themed stuff that I'm going to be selling later this week as well. So this is my account, Casey's Clay. So pretend that I am about to go live later this week, and I'm thinking about everything that I need to do pre-show. So everything that I need to do before the show actually happens to make this a success. So the first thing that you'll want to do is schedule your shows in advance. I highly recommend scheduling your show at least a week in advance. That way you can just build momentum for that show, get a lot of bookmarks, and just like build the hype for your show. I also recommend having a few scheduled shows so folks can bookmark your upcoming stream. So if you're getting a lot of new buyers in your show and people are really liking what you're putting on the platform, you can just say, hey, so happy that you're here. I'm going to be selling X on Wednesday or something like that. I encourage you to go bookmark and join then. This is also really helpful if you have a buyer in your show that is looking for specific merchandise, but maybe you're not showing that stuff until a future show. You can mention that there. So schedule your shows in advance. A quality thumbnail is so important. So what you're seeing here with this show that I scheduled called September Sale, actually both of these thumbnails I made in like 5 minutes in Canva. Canva is truly one of the best tools that you can use for any kind of creative services. I've been using Canva for years now for my Whatnot shows, and what's really helpful about Canva is there's a free version and a paid version. So with your free version, there's a lot of different templates that you can find. But if you also want to like ramp up your skills a little bit and have access to a few more like fancy features, there is a monthly subscription that you can use through that tool. But just the free service is wonderful. The September sale, both of these I made through the free service, and I just searched for thumbnail templates on Canva, and I got a bunch of different options. Specifically for September sale, I use a lot of like Aura type Y2K branding for Casey's Clay. So this has been super helpful for me in just saving time and making sure that things are clear and precise. So highly recommend using time to invest in your thumbnail. So many things are happening on Whatnot at once, so you want to use as much as you can to reel folks in. So as folks are scrolling through the feed, if you have a really engaging, clear, and enticing thumbnail, that's just giving you a leg up compared to the competition. The other thing that I would highly recommend before your show, especially for new sellers, is learning from other sellers. Being involved in the community, I'll mention this a few times today, will just really help you learn what you like, what you don't like, what works well on the platform, etc. There are folks that have been doing this for a really long time that has that have a lot of expertise on the platform. I see some OGs in the chat, Fundamentals, I see you. I'm sure there's many others. These folks really know what they're doing on the platform and have gotten really, really good at selling. So I highly recommend learning from others in your category and taking best practices and figuring out how you can apply these to your own show and put your own twist on it as well to make yourself memorable. Marketing before the show, so highly recommend sharing your show. So I have this show pre-scheduled for today that we're going to be going through today. What's really great is on the right-hand side of my screen, so up in this corner, I need to get a pointer or something. There's the shop icon and then share right above it with an arrow. When you click that button, you actually have the option to share directly to Instagram stories, Messenger, WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. I was last chatting with ThriftWorks. Shout out if you are in, ThriftWorks is live right now. You can send it to folks that maybe you were recently talking with as well if you have something that you think they want to buy. Or you can just directly copy the link and send it to folks as well. So this is really helpful in just getting the word out there. When I was first live streaming on Whatnot, you can't underestimate the value of just your local community. So I sent the link to my mom, my sister, my friends, and just got anyone in there that can make me feel a bit more confident. So don't underestimate the power of your local community and just making sure that you feel comfortable on your show. And for Cream City Rollers, again, this is the shop icon on the bottom right. Right above it is a share icon with an arrow pointing up, and you'll have options to share directly to other social platforms or copy the link to share it directly. All right, highly recommend link in bio as well. So if you have an online presence elsewhere, having like a referral link directly to Whatnot or linking directly to an important show will make it just really easy for folks to find your shows. And then lastly, I'm going to say it again, supporting your community in Whatnot is one of truly the best ways to market yourself and build a reputation for yourself on the platform. Whatnot is a super community heavy platform. I think that's one of the things that makes Whatnot so unbelievably special and why we all love it so much. So the more that you invest in the community, the more that the community will invest in you. So this can look like buying in other shows, engaging in the chat, networking with other sellers. You can sort of moderate for other sellers. So a lot of different ways, but just the more that you show up, the more that people will show up for you. They'll start trusting you as a well-known name in the community, and they will be more likely to show up and buy from you in future shows. Yeah, totally. Show notes are really helpful. So if I had any relevant details for the earrings that I was going to sell today, if you can see on the left-hand side now, there's a little Post-it note icon that says show notes. If I wanted to edit this, I can just edit right into the show notes. And while I'm streaming, if I also have like a message for folks, I can just say, hey, we're selling this today. For details on the products, you can check out my show notes on the left-hand side of your screen. Just to get more information. So this is also a really helpful tool if you have a repetitive message that you need to share throughout your stream. All right, and you can also edit these along the way. Okay, so the other thing that we want to do before your show, this is even before we start streaming, is creating quality listings. So we highly, highly recommend investing the time in creating quality listings. Again, this is just something else to set your show apart from other sellers and ensure that buyers can deeply understand what you're offering and if your show is a good option for them. So I'm going to walk through step by step of how you actually make a listing in real time on the platform. So if I go to my shop, so this is going to be in the bottom right hand corner, right above Start Show. So you can see that there's nothing in my store right now. So I have the auction tab, the buy now tab where folks can buy things at any time outside of an auction. I can list direct giveaways. And then there will be other details that will be helpful to you as a seller, including tracking what's already sold, offers, and tips. So let's start with auction because I want this to be the focus of my stream. So you see a pop-up on the bottom right here, add products. So I'm going to press this plus icon, and then there's three options here: creating a quality listing, create a temporary listing, and import from your inventory. So creating a temporary listing is helpful because you can just make something on the fly, especially if you're doing pallet pulls or something like that. this can be super helpful for you. But I highly recommend using quality listings where you can, just because it's going to, again, give you that leg up and really make sure folks can trust your products on the platform. So let's go through this. So you click Create Quality Listing. I typically sell in handmade clothing and accessories, so this is already recommended to me, but you can also scroll through our categories and pick what is right for you. So I'm going to just click that. Now, with photos for your items, I typically recommend having at least like 2 to 3 photos minimum, just to show different angles of your item, so folks can really get a sense of the quality of the piece. But I'm going to look in my, you have the option to upload media, take photos, or scan a barcode or slab. I believe that this is specific for TCG and sports. Kenny, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, and potentially comics too. But Kenny, please fact check me in the comments. So you have the option to take a bunch of photos beforehand or take photos on the fly. So if you take the time, for example, these are, I'm going to take photos real quick. So these are one of my old designs. If you tuned into a live stream before, you have seen these. I can take a photo on the fly real quick if I don't want to set it up. If I'm just strapped for time, I can just take the photo here. Maybe something else that I would do if I had more time here is like maybe I would wear them and show what they look like on a person, maybe create a different setting for it, etc. But for now, just to show you how this works, we're just going to stick with this one photo. So now I have my product. We're going to skip this beta feature right now, but stay tuned. AI is going to be super, super helpful to you all moving forward, and highly recommend playing around with this. So for the product details, I can just say funky flower earrings, and then I can add in made with polymer clay. I'm just going to keep this brief right now, but here I would talk about, as a handmade seller, what types of products I'm using. I know for earring buyers, they're really keen on knowing if like fixtures are hypoallergenic and things like that. So anything that you can incorporate here to just make sure that folks can really trust you and understand what you're selling, the more information here, the more helpful it is for folks to make a decision. And if I had multiple quantities of this available, I can change this. So say I had like 3 available, I can update this here. The other helpful thing too is that if you decide as you're going through this listing process, if you would rather put this in your buy now section or your giveaway section, you can do so, but I'll also show you how to edit this once you create the listing already. So if you change your mind later, that's totally okay. If you already have an idea of a starting bid number, this is where you would set it. To address dollar starts are very helpful on the platform and help you stay competitive. But also, they are not necessary to succeed on Whatnot by any means. I can at least speak for my earrings that I put a lot of time and effort into creating these pieces, and I wouldn't certainly feel super comfortable with these selling for just $1. So in the past, I've set minimum starting bids of $10 or even $30 for more complex bids. I've seen even $5 starts work really well. So it's really up to you as the business owner of what you're comfortable with here. Risk is always helpful in growing your audience, but again, you want to protect your bottom line. And you're not only just selling products on Whatnot, you're selling yourself, you're selling an experience. So do what makes you comfortable here. And the more consistent that you are on the platform, the more you will find buyers that want to buy what you're selling. For the sake of time, I'm going to start this at $1. If you want to use sudden death, you can review that here. I wouldn't recommend sudden death as you're starting out, so you can build up a following and make sure that you're comfortable with the price that it's selling at. And if you also want to reserve for your live stream and not allow folks to buy this item prior to the show starting, this can be helpful as well. I make small batch earrings, so I typically choose this setting because if all of my inventory sold out before the show, I wouldn't necessarily have anything to sell in the show. So it's really up to you. Shipping, you can also select here. I know prior to this that this, with my shipping items, measures between 4 and 7 ounces. So while we're on shipping, I highly recommend a bit. But if you don't already have like a small items, I recommend getting on that before you go to sleep tonight. really one of the best things that will help you out in saving money and ensuring that your listings are accurate, so you're not penalized for that at a future date. So specifically for this, when I was making a listing for these earrings, I laid out my shipping materials and the earrings on scale to make sure that I had the right shipping profile in place. So we'll talk about shipping a little bit. And then there's a few optional fields like SKU, cost per item, but again, totally optional if it is helpful for you. So we'll publish this now. So now I have my funky flower earrings in my auction list. If I also wanted to move this around in my store, I can press edit listing before the show starts, and then I can scroll down and click buy now or giveaway to move it around my storefront. But for now, I'll leave it in my options. Okay, the other thing that I'll add is that you can add things that are listed in your inventory already. So in my storefront, I have some random miscellaneous items that could sell at any time. I think sometimes it's really helpful to diversify your buy now section so you can kind of attract buyers that maybe aren't already buying typically in your designated category. So for example, I have like a bunch of nail polish that I'm trying to sell. So if I want to create a buy now listing and not have to duplicate my work, I'm going to press the plus icon again. And then all the way at the bottom, you see import from inventory. So you can use existing listings for this show. So I can at least select from a specific listing that's already live. The other thing that's helpful too, because I make a lot of the same earring designs, is that I can go to inactive listings. And that can actually help me save time and just post the same thing. So you can see here, I've sold those triple flower earrings before. So I can just select that picture if I want to create a listing for that. But right now, I want to list this SE688 nail polish. So I'm going to do so. Press import. And then when you click into your buy now, it has all of the information that I used last time, which just saves me a lot of time and not having to relist anything or add in duplicate information. So that is your inventory. Lots of things to go through on listings. I know I'm talking a lot, but just a reminder for folks, this will be recorded and sent to y'all that tune into this live stream, that you'll be able to reference it at a later date. We also have a lot of really helpful materials online. You can check out Seller Academy. Kenny, if you want to pin that in the chat. There's a go live checklist specifically that is really helpful for new sellers. If you have any technical question on Whatnot, help.whatnot.com is probably one of your best friends. Anytime you have a question, really, you can Google things like shipping on Whatnot. It'll bring you to the shipping hub through our help center. So do not underestimate the power of our help center. It is chock full of information. And also seller support shows. So I have a bunch of folks in the chat. Please raise your hand if you run support shows for your category, meaning that you run chat shows that help educate other sellers. Feel free to promote yourself in the chat right now. Vintage Sunflower Fundamentals, Amy's Treasures, a bunch. So highly recommend seeking out those mentors in your category. They have so much information and knowledge, and they can really help you out as well. Yeah, I even saw folks saying ChatGPT, also an amazing place to just like have a conversation about Whatnot and ask for advice too. And you can also check out our YouTube channel as well. We've been posting recordings from this account. So if you go to YouTube and search for Whatnot, you'll find our account, and we post recordings of Whatnot seller shows as well. Okay, last few things that you should be doing to prepare for your live stream. So creating a nice atmosphere. This includes a quality background, good lighting, excellent audio and video quality. You'll see that a lot of sellers on Whatnot do have like very complex sets, but you really don't need a lot to get started. You'll see once I actually go live here, leaning on my desk so you don't see the clutter behind it. Setup that makes things look a bit more aesthetically pleasing than like the cluttered desk. But if you do want to invest in it, a set, or just any kind of branding can really go a long way there. Good lighting is really helpful. So if you look at the bottom of your screen right now at my face, I'm using a ring light right now, but if I turn this off, you just lose a lot of pizzazz on my face. The other thing too is I have like a big light to the right of me, and this is helping to highlight my products and get rid of any shadows. So if you are looking for lighting online, you can get lighting for pretty cheap. I have this big studio light right next to me that I think I got for $30 online. So highly recommend looking into that. And then excellent audio and video quality. Please make sure you're testing out your Wi-Fi connection to ensure that there's not any lagging happening in your show. And also your audio. If you're in like a big open space, there might be a lot of echoing happening. So highly recommend going into rehearsal mode or scheduling a private show and testing out that audio quality to make sure that you're all set up for your first show. You can also do a test run, speaking of these private shows, so you can get acquainted with the live process, test your setup, check sound and video, and practice using seller tools. There's two ways that you can do this, through one, rehearsal mode, and then two, private mode. I'll actually show you directly where to find rehearsal mode. So I'm going back into the app. Right in the middle on the bottom here, you can see Seller Hub. And then I'm going to click the top right-hand corner. I should specify I'm on iOS right now. And then if I scroll all the way down in Seller Tools, you'll see rehearsal mode right above vacation mode. So if I go into rehearsal mode, so as I mentioned, this is my very, very simple wooden set in front of you. And you can have an option to go through a guided tour that'll actually walk you through how to run items and just give you tips and tricks on how to be a good seller on Whatnot. So feel free to check this out. I use this if I don't feel like going through the listing process of creating a show. You can just go to rehearsal mode real quick and test things out. I can exit out of this right now. But what's also really helpful is that when you're scheduling a new show, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll have an option to designate that show as private or public. Private just means that folks need to have a direct link to your show to actually tune in. So it's not going to actually show up in anyone's feed. This is really helpful if you're testing out your audio quality or you just want feedback as a host. You can send the link to friends or family or even other sellers that are offering to give help and ask for their advice and just how to optimize your show. So highly recommend checking those out. Make sure you have your shipping products in place so that will streamline order processing and enhances overall customer satisfaction. And if you want to really level up your shipping experience, you can also customize packaging for a memorable buyer experience. This can include branded supplies, offering freebies, custom thank you cards can go a really long way, and creating like a start to finish, end-to-end product experience on and off of Whatnot. And then last thing, get organized. Before I start my shows, I have everything kind of like laid out in rows, and I have an idea in my head of how exactly I'm going to run my show. Some folks actually write out a schedule for themselves. But a show is much more engaging if you go in and you actually have a plan, instead of just going in and saying, what do you guys want? What are you looking for? You could be using that time instead to be showing off your items, selling things, and really engaging with the chat. All right, we are about ready to go through showtime. Again, lots of things to go through today, but appreciate you all engaging in the chat. Our team is recording questions, so we'll get to as many as possible. And really appreciate you all being here today. Thumbs up if we're still feeling good. I know we're going through a lot of stuff. Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, we are ready to start this live stream and actually start selling. So even though this is scheduled for later tonight at like 10 p.m., I can start the show at any time, so I will start it now. But again, remember that this is a private show, so this is not going to like send a notification to anyone that I'm live. The other thing that you can do while you're about to go live is you have the option to go live directly on Whatnot, or you have the option to multicast to other platforms. So if you're coming to Whatnot and you already have a really good presence on YouTube, Facebook Live, or Twitch, you can multicast to those platforms and then attract existing buyers from other locations. So you can say, hey, check these out, show off your earrings or anything else that you're selling, and say, hey, if you want this, you can check out the referral link in my bio or something like that, and go download Whatnot and tune into the show. So if you have presence on other platforms, this is a good thing to test out. All right, so I'm going live. So welcome again to my wooden set here. As I'm tuning in, I can just say, welcome folks, so happy you're here today. I can share a bit more about myself, welcome folks into the chat. I can engage with buyers, ask questions, show off my inventory. I also recommend having a process in place for how you're keeping track of your orders. A lot of folks will just use Post-it notes and write down buyers' usernames as you go. Some folks have like a number system where they put numbers on items. That way you're able to reuse these things. But most importantly, be yourself and have fun. You're selling yourself as much as you're selling the product. So the more that you're yourself, the more that you'll be able to sustain this and really find a unique and loyal buyer base on the platform. So make sure to have fun. Whatnot is a really fun experience. It's entertainment as well at the end of the day. So be yourself and you'll attract the right people at the end of the day. Okay, let's actually talk through how to run an auction while you're selling. So before, you guys all saw me create a listing for these flower earrings. So if I'm selling, I can just prop these up however I want to display them. And then when you go into your auctions, you can click Start Auction. The other thing that you can do is pin an item. So when you pin an item, this is really helpful in wanting to be able to talk about your items and just create hype before you actually start selling them. So as you can see, I've pinned this item to the bottom of my screen. So I can say, hey, this is going to be the next item that I'm running. These are funky flower earrings. They're green, they're super fun and just spicing up a basic outfit. They have hypoallergenic fixtures. Anything else that you can do to really hype up the chat and get people excited, this is your moment to do so. So then you can either start the auction directly from your pinned item, or you can go into your store and press Start Auction. So I can adjust here again if I want to change the starting bid, the required time. I highly recommend staying below 30 seconds just so things can move quickly and folks aren't waiting around for too long. And you can also adjust the counter bid time. So this adjusts for how long the timer will reset if there becomes a bidding war. And then again, sudden death, this creates no counter bid time. So if you're really trying to sell quickly, this is something to consider, but not necessarily something that I recommend for new sellers. So I will start the auction. And this is where I would want to create a lot of hype, talk with folks in the chat like, oh my God, we not retail, you're winning. I really hope you get it. Talk through why I think this would really fit someone's style. Maybe someone has bought with me a lot before, and I can talk to them, hey, I really think that this would look amazing with your style. I've seen your outfits. I think that this would look great. Any ways that you can just like stay engaged with the chat, I think is really helpful here. So I'm about to run out of time because I'm selling to no one, but hopefully you got a really good auction out of that. All right. The other thing that you can do through here is running a giveaway. So a lot of folks when they're streaming will start with a giveaway. That way they have time to welcome in folks, get situated, talk with the chat, and attract some new buyers. But it goes through the same flow that I showed you before of creating an auction listing or a buy now listing, and then you would just start giveaway the same way that you would start an auction in your store. But that's really helpful in just giving back to your chat. Again, giveaways are not like the end all be all on Whatnot. I already saw someone just mention Gibby Goblins. It happens that folks are looking for a good deal on Whatnot. Who can blame them? But there are a lot of other features that you can use that help market really loyal buyers on the platform, and I'll talk through those in a bit. Other chat functions that you can use. So there's over 200 people in the room right now. Sometimes if we get up into like the 600s here or something like that, the chat can be really wild and it's really hard for us to keep up with everything. I'm looking at the bottom of my screen. You see, say something in little text. I'm gonna unpin this. If I click the slash icon right next to it, or the backslash, you'll see a few different options that you can use to moderate your chat. So you have the option to hide messages. So if you have a lot of moderators and you want to say to someone that maybe you want to ban a certain buyer in your show, or you want to just make sure that they're announcing the right kind of thing in your show, you can just write a message to your team so no one sees it. You can use the announce tool, so something will pop up at the bottom. Kenny, if you wanted to say hello using the announce tool, everyone can see how to use it. And this just temporarily announces important messages. Yeah, if you do want to buy them, I believe they're in my shop, but I'm streaming on Friday, so you can also buy them then. And also slow mode is really helpful. If you have a lot of folks that are in your show and are bombing the chat with messages, feel free to pick slow mode. You can adjust the timing that stops people from sending another message within a specific time frame. So this can just help make your chat a bit more manageable. So these are the tools that are available to you through chat functions. While I'm done with my show, say I've had a really successful show here, I've sold hundreds of earrings, I'm feeling good. Now I have the option to raid. So if you've been on Whatnot for a while, you've probably witnessed the power and the magic of raids. I think it's one of my favorite features on Whatnot, and it's just a really wonderful way to give back to the community. So you can just end your show, but why not raid into someone else's show? This sends all of your current viewers into someone else's show. And we'll actually demonstrate this at the end of the show today, so you'll be able to see it in real time if you haven't seen a raid already. But if I wanted to initiate a raid, I can type /raid. And then I can select folks to raid if I have someone in mind. Or if you don't have necessarily someone in mind yet, I'm looking on the right-hand side of my screen. It's a bit hard to see right now. I'll tilt this a little bit. These three dots on the right-hand side of your screen where it says more, if you click that, you'll see right here on the left-hand side, right above rotate camera, raid someone. So instead of ending your show, I recommend raiding. And there will be some suggestions of folks that you can raid. Or if you want to support some new sellers, this is something that we always try to do on Whatnot Sellers, you can look through the suggestions here. And that's just another way to end your show. Other tips to use while you're actually streaming on the platform, figure out ways to encourage multiple purchases. There are incentives, specifically with shipping costs, for your buyers. So if they buy more than one item from you, you can bundle items together and it can save on those costs. So feel free to encourage folks to complete multiple purchases if they want to save on shipping. You can tell viewers to follow you by tapping your profile in the top left corner. I noticed on my profile that I think I'm 50 away from 1,000 followers or something like that. So I could even say hey, if we get to 1,000 followers before my show on Friday, I'll give 5 earrings away for free or something like that. I might not do that because I don't necessarily have that many things to give away, but I could create some kind of incentive to get people excited and want folks to help me out. And before logging off, please let your audience know when you'll be live next and have them bookmark your future shows so you can engage with them regularly and they can get excited for what's to come. All right. Things to look out for after you're comfortable streaming. These are, again, just things to take note of because, again, we're running out, slowly but surely running out of time. things that you can Google, promote tools on Whatnot, and then also some seller tools like coupons, polls, tip settings. These are really just wonderful things in leveling up your Whatnot business and finding other ways to just create incentives for your buyers. So things to look into once you're comfortable streaming, but no need to stress about it right now. All right. Let me end the show because I have no viewers, so no one to read into. All right, great show. Okay, so we've had a show, we're feeling good. Maybe I'm reflecting on ways that we can improve this next time. So I know a lot of folks are in the chat now because they're very focused on attracting buyers. So there's a few different features that I'll quickly mention right now that, again, you can Google them and just like add Whatnot to your search and they will come up. Coupons, this incentivizes buyers with custom deals through like a percentage off or dollar amount off of your items. Free and reduced shipping, buyers can actually filter for these shows. So if you're able to offer these special deals, this can really help give you a leg up, but again, not totally necessary. Do what's comfortable for you and what makes sense. But you can set this filter when you're actually scheduling your show. Giveaways, again, not the end all be all. There's other things like or rewards club or buy it now drops or something like that that can really help you stand out. Promote tools are great in driving growth through increased visibility. There's a few different ways to use promote tools, so again, highly recommend Googling this and trying to play around with it a bit if you have some budget to use when you're a bit more comfortable with streaming. Rewards Club, your own loyalty program for buyers, and I'll say it again because this is my favorite tip, get involved in the community. Again, Whatnot is an amazing community-based platform. It's free marketing for you. Other sellers will want to support you. Other buyers will want to support you. And you'll just really improve your reputation and gain folks' trust so they will invest in your business as well. Yeah, community over competition always. Totally agree. Yes, out and about vintage, that's a great tip. Please be respectful when you go into other chats. Make sure that you're genuinely there to support and not necessarily just to promote. The promotion will come with showing up and supporting other sellers. Okay. We're getting there, folks. So post-show, you want to ship all of your items within 2 business days. That's within our policy. Use a Whatnot provided USPS label. Unused labels will result in no payment for those orders. Cash out your Whatnot profits via PayPal or ACH. Create FOMO, let your followers know how your live went, what they missed, and when you'll be live next. This is, again, really helpful if you are popular on other platforms. And reorganize your inventory if needed so shipping is seamless. Sometimes at the end of my shows, my earrings are all over the place. So it can be really helpful if I just reorganize things kind of in a line flow to make sure that shipping is really easy for me. All right, so a few other things to mention. I'm going to go through new seller sales match bonus and then briefly on shipping before I get into your questions. So if you're not familiar with this, then there's a new seller sales match bonus available where Whatnot will match your sales up to a certain amount across the bonus period that's offered. If you're eligible for this, this should show up as like a banner in your app when you open up the app. And this means for every $1 of items you sell, Whatnot will give you an additional $1. The bonus period starts as soon as you are given selling access. So for new folks, this is really prevalent to you. In the Whatnot app, again, you'll see a which indicates that the bonus period is active and tells you how much longer you have. The bonus period will vary based on factors such as your location and types of items that you sell. And feel free to review the banner in your app if you're seeing it on your specific account to learn more and see if you are eligible. And if you have any other questions about that, totally feel free to email our support team, sellersupport@whatnot.com, or you can write in through our help center. Okay, last thing through shipping. So we are actually having a shipping show, Kenny, correct me, next week on Wednesday. Yes, Book Market. Okay, we are having a shipping show. We're bringing in an expert from Whatnot to talk for an hour all about shipping. I know it's a hot topic for a lot of folks on Whatnot, so please click into our profile, Whatnot Sellers, and bookmark this show. It's happening next Wednesday. So I'll go through a few things right now, and I'll also talk about some Google searches that you can use to look more into shipping, because I know it's a hot topic for sellers. I'll mention this again. Please purchase a scale. A kitchen scale is great. I'm sure folks sell them on Whatnot, or you can get them online. And make sure you're weighing your items, including the packaging materials. Your shipping settings. So you can adjust this in your Seller Hub. So in my account right now, I can go to Seller Hub. And then on the right-hand side, settings by show if needed, especially if you're like selling different as well. Shipping profiles are also really helpful. You can specify things like specific weight, dimensions, or max bundling for your products, especially if you're selling garage sales or something like that. Being able to set max bundling limitations can be really helpful in making sure that your packages are secure. You can update specifically your shipping settings in Seller Hub on mobile. And the settings for box dimensions are found after enabling the toggle of set the maximum number of items to put in one package. So if you're looking for max bundling information, if you go to settings, so if you want to set box dimensions right under bundling options, you see set the maximum number of items to put into one package, clicking that, and then that option will show up. I know that I'm going through this fast, but things that I recommend Googling so you can learn all about shipping on Whatnot. Again, grab your pen and paper. If you literally just Google Whatnot shipping, it will bring you to our shipping hub on Whatnot, where there are over 30 articles there that you can read and gain information from. You can Google bundle or unbundle items on Whatnot. That will bring you to a really good help article. Shipping with flat rate packaging on Whatnot. Also shipping issues on Whatnot. There's a whole article that just breaks down the most common shipping issues that we get customer support tickets about. So highly recommend if you're struggling with shipping, feel free to ask other sellers in your category for tips and tricks. And you can also check out our help center. We have a lot of really good information there. And you can bookmark our show. Next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about shipping. It's going to be a really good one, so stay tuned for that. Okay, last thing that I'll plug real quick, because I know folks love some Whatnot goodies. I'll go into Seller Hub to rehearsal mode real quick so I can show you. Again, everyone on Whatnot sells on the platform, and recently I made these Whatnot earrings, and I have some Whatnot magnets that I'm going to be selling as well. This is on Friday, so if you want to come hang out with me, these can be yours. This is not official Whatnot merch, but I know y'all just love Whatnot stuff, so if you have any interest, feel free to go bookmark my show on Friday and come hang out. All right, let's move into Q&A. How we feeling, folks? Feeling good. I'm so glad. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to go over to my team's notes right now and try to answer as many questions as I can. And for any questions that aren't answered, we always analyze our chat after our shows to make sure that we're focusing on the right things in these shows. If you don't get your question answered, our support team is also really wonderful, and you can write in there too and try to get some help there. Okay, first question is from Jamie Clee or CLI. Jamie C. Lee, that's what I'm guessing. 34380. how do you feel about live video thumbnails? Yeah, so I mean, Whatnot is like a video-based platform, so I think videos are really cool just because it allows you to show off a lot of different products. So it's really up to you of what you want to utilize. I was a bit strapped for time, so I was able to just make a static image, and that was helpful. But I think a video thumbnail is totally fine. Just make sure that the quality is clear, and you know, there's something that's like enticing for folks if they're tuning into it. Yo, Adrian, Southern Charm. What was the app again to craft thumbnail and images? Canva, canva.com. If someone can pin that in the chat, that would be great. Canva is truly one of my favorite products. They have a lot of new AI tools too that make your life easier. A lot of free templates to work off of, so highly recommend checking that out. Rosie, May, and Friends asks, best size for template for thumbnails. If you go to Seller Academy, so I believe it's selleracademy.whatnot.com, if one of the mods can pin that, there is actually a guide that walks you through the correct dimensions for thumbnails. So recommend going there. You can also just type in thumbnails Whatnot on Google, and it will link you to a help article that walks you through this. But I think from the top of my head, it's 1080 by 1920 pixels. But again, don't quote me on that. Our Help Center and Seller Academy will be really helpful. Petra Miami asks, reduce shipping and how to set it up. So if you go to help.whatnot.com, just feel free to search for reduce shipping. This will give you like a step-by-step process how to go through this and make sure you set it up for your buyers. Just to save some time right now, that will really help you out. Gimme That It's Mine asks, how do you reschedule all shows at one time, or do you have to reschedule each individual show? So if you have a recurring show, you can adjust this pretty easily, but for all of your shows, you'll have to go through this one at a time. If I'm giving the wrong information here, someone feel free to correct me, but I believe it is one at a time. All right, no. Lovely, okay. Silver Sky Stone. Yes, I agree, fundamentals, it's easier on desktop. Silver Sky Stone asks, can we set up stories within our own profile that our followers can go check to see upcoming items? So this is not a feature on Whatnot right now, so I highly recommend using your time while you are live to promote your upcoming shows. It's also really helpful to start gaining followers on other platforms like Instagram or TikTok. That way you can connect with your buyers more regularly and promote items that will be in upcoming shows. If you are trying to build a presence off of Whatnot, I also highly recommend promoting those accounts while you're live on Whatnot. You will be flagged if you're trying to like facilitate any sales off of the platform, but if you're just looking for folks to follow you for updates, that's totally fine. Okay, Jarhead0621. Can we offer products in the store with different prices in one listing if offering a product at different sizes instead of doing them separately? Yes, you can search variants in help desk. So help.whatnot.com. If you just search variants in the search bar, you'll be able to check that out. Thank you, Kenny, or whoever posted that. All right, next one is from Tickles Vintage. What's smart bundling? Whatnot Smart Bundling Program maximizes ultimate convenience and savings on shipping for our buyers and sellers. Our advanced algorithms find the most efficient bundles for your orders to minimize shipments, especially with our competitively negotiated rates. Smart bundling is active in all markets, and we operate in regardless of where the seller and buyer are located. Feel free to check out Help Desk, again, help.whatnot.com, if you want to learn more about bundling. All right, moving and grooving. Lil Jen 2000 is asking, is there a way to add inventory to shows automatically? Yes, so in Seller Hub specifically, you can add inventory all in one go and then mass apply it to upcoming shows. If you want to go through tips and tricks on inventory, there should be a lot of help articles about this, but I recommend playing around with this on Seller Hub, specifically on desktop. I prefer managing it there. The other thing I'll chat about real quick before I get to these last few questions is that a lot of folks will use two devices while they're streaming. So right now, while I'm streaming, I'm using OBS, which I'll talk about in a second, but I'm streaming from desktop, and then I'm also managing on my phone. So typically when I start streaming, I love using my iPhone camera to show off my products. So I'll start the stream from my phone, but then I'll operate the stream on desktop just because I like having a bigger stream to operate from. So feel free to play around with that as well. You can play around through creating a private show on Whatnot. Yeah, a lot of folks use an iPhone and iPad. That's also great. Okay, what is OBS? This is from Gone Girl Goods. OBS is a free tool that you can find online that you can download that allows you to create more engaging production setups. So right now, while I'm using OBS, I'm able to create this overlay above me where it looks like you are tuning into my phone in real time. I also have these other images that I can cycle through. So like, I can go back to my intro screen. The live stream demo will begin shortly, or I can hide that real quick, going back to Q&A time. And that's how I was able to hide my phone before we got started. So there's a lot of different things that you can play around with. A lot of OBS materials in our help center. And feel free to also check out tips and tricks on YouTube to get started. I knew nothing about OBS, and I think it kind of took me a week to get really comfortable with it. So feel free to start playing around with that if you are feeling confident on the production side of things. Okay, Simply Deals asks, I don't think giveaway receipts should be allowed to leave feedback. So we do this specifically to ensure sellers are actually shipping the correct giveaways. It's just a good way to hold sellers accountable and make sure that buyers feel confident tuning into your shows at a future date. So that's why we do that on Whatnot. Petra Miami, how do I post a coupon in my shows where clients only click on and it will add to their wallet? So specifically for coupons, you can create a coupon in Seller Hub on web, and then you add the coupon code to your show notes. So when you are streaming, that little post-it note icon is where you can add in the coupon information. If you have more questions on coupons, again, feel free to look up help.whatnot.com, and then just in the search bar, type coupons, and you'll be able to check it out there. Okay, last thing I will flag here, again, selleracademy.whatnot.com has a lot of good information for you. And then also help.whatnot.com, a really good location for all like tips and tricks and technical stuff for Whatnot items. I know I went through a lot of stuff today, but I really, really appreciate you all being here and asking so many good questions. I know that we couldn't get to all of our questions today, but again, we'll be reviewing the chat and making sure that our future content really serves your needs. So appreciate you all asking the questions here. I hope that we can see you in future shows. Feel free to follow Whatnot Sellers and bookmark our upcoming streams. To flag again, we're going to be having a shipping show next week that will be really great. And again, if you want some Whatnot, cute little Whatnot clay creations, come hang out with me on Friday. Last thing, you will be getting a recording of this stream. So if you've tuned in, just keep your eyes on your email and we will send a recording there that you can check out at a later date. Okay, doing a lot of talking. We're going to be rating Tickled Pet, a pet seller. She's super excited. If you haven't seen a raid, this is going to be super fun. It's just to see the power of Whatnot and how we support other sellers. Tickled Pet. No need to buy anything. Just feel free to show up, create excitement, show support. Again, investing in the community is really helpful on the platform. I really appreciate you all being here, and I can't wait to see what you all do on Whatnot. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Freaking party jumping! What is up, everyone? We are doing single ingredient treats right now. $1 starts for your dog and for your cat. $1 starts, starting at $1. Every single auction is $1 start, 10 seconds long. Ready, set, go. The first is going to be cod skin cubes. Guys, just started the timer. Make sure you guys are engaging. Cod skin cubes for dogs. Here we go. Get your little thumbs ready. Cod is a superfood. We're going nuts in this house.